Hey there, Alan Mathews here. In this video, we are going to be looking at the Joseph Kuffner Andantino, and we're going to be looking at dynamics. And what are dynamics? Louds and softs and swells and fades, and how do you connect one note to the next? We might think dynamics as being this big overarching thing, but it basically boils down to how do you connect one note to the next note and what is informing that decision. First thing we want to look at is that we have two different types of things happening in this. And we talked about this before when we were talking about the left hand, is that we have arpeggio stuff here, cross string, and then we have scale stuff going on here, over here. Then we have this. There are chords involved, but it's still scale stuff as opposed to arpeggio stuff. So arpeggio is a broken chord, and so whenever we have that, we're going to treat things differently from one place to another. Let's start off with the basic rules of dynamic, which is if a line is going up, then we get quieter. And if it's going down, we get louder. And a lot of people will disagree, and you'll see this marked differently in a lot of music, but this is a much better way of doing it. Says me, I think it's much more beautiful to do it this way as a general rule. Of course, you know, sometimes you break the rules and it's different, but 99% of the time, this is going to sound better, especially just in just running work, basic scales in a piece. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is this line, G, F, E, D. This is a line going down. This is this arpeggio stuff at the beginning of the piece. It's not as much of a line as it's an arpeggio. It's just these notes in a chord bouncing around, outlining a harmony, outlining these chords. But here we have actually like a scale passage, da, 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 da. And so whenever you have this, then you can look, and so the first note is higher, and then we go in straight down to the bottom note. And so what we're going to do here is just one big crescendo. And to be able to crescendo, the first thing you have to do is get quiet, because if you don't, then you have nowhere to crescendo to. And crescendo means get louder. So from here to here, you want to get softer. From this low G up to this high G, you want to get very quiet. And I'll just practice that. So that, and in general, if you're going over the bar, this is just another little rule tip for you. If you're going over the bar as a jump, as a leap, low, high, then you generally want to give more weight to the low note and then back off to the higher note. That's generally the way it happens if you're in when you're playing running work and scale stuff. So whenever you have the big crescendo, you have to first get quieter before you get louder. That way you can actually have somewhere to go. In your practice, you want to exaggerate this like crazy. Loud, as quiet as you can, more, and really bring us all the way forward to your loudest. From the softest here to the loudest here. Next up, let's just look at this down here. So here we have this whole section through here. You could really think of this either way. We could think of this as an arpeggio, which it is, but then also we're kind of setting this up with this rest. We're setting it up to be a line going forward with the rest of this as well. So however you'd like to do it. But what we can do is look at it and just apply these rules. You can just take a pencil into your score and say, okay, whatever this one is, we'll get softer to this one, and then because it's higher, and then we'll get louder to this one because it's soft, because it's lower, and then we'll get quieter here, and then we'll get louder all the way to the end, because they're both lower. So you could just do that type of thing as just a play experiment, and then see how it sounds. It might be that you just want to do one big old crescendo for the entire thing, and it might be the way that you handle it. There are multiple ways of handling anything. But the main thing is that you just play with it and experiment and try new things and start with these basic rules. If it's going up, get softer. If it's going down, get louder. And then from that, then you can change it if you want to, or if you have a good reason to. The other thing we'd like to look at in using the dynamics is how we join up from each line to each line and the connections of sections. So here we have a long note, and then we have some more short notes leading forward after this. So if you just bring us to here and then start over here really loud every time, then it sounds like we're just having like 8 different pieces going on that just kind of sound similar. Instead, as this dies, this is just naturally going to die out as it plays, because it does. 1, 2, 3. gets quieter. 3. We'll then play the first note of each new section, play it softly, and it'll kind of continue on. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then move forward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then you can go on from there. So that's called the long short. And it's a whole thing into itself, but it's all over the place. But for this piece, for right now, and we talk about it more in the course, but for this piece, if you're just practicing it on your own, then play the first note of each section quietly. All right. If you haven't already, pick up the sheet music to this for free down below, or take the entire course on this piece and really go step by step in your practice and use it as a chance to really explore and deepen your knowledge of how to approach music and how to practice. Hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you in the very near future. Please subscribe. See you soon. Bye-bye.